Alright, the big one, Micro 2 Motorized E800. The biggest one, in fact, as of now. If you're interested in that one, definitely also check out my reviews on the Micro 2 Motorized, the smaller version, and the manual slider. As with all the other products I've tested from Zeapon, it's an excellent one. So good, in fact, that the guys from Apple used the Micro 2 Motorized, I believe, on the production of their latest iPhone commercial. This is the behind-the-scenes footage, and that is the Micro 2 Motorized. And since Zeapon got such a push from the exposure, they want to give back to the community. So they allowed me to give away one of the E800 motorized units to one of you guys. So one lucky subscriber will have one of these shipped to their home for free. This is the first slider in the lineup that comes with its own carry bag, which is much appreciated because bringing it on set and basically taking it anywhere makes this super simple and super convenient. There's a side pouch for the accessories right here, which are these arms that we're going to go into in detail in a moment. And there she is. Let's start with the basics. Total unit length, 61 centimeters. Total slider reach, 94 centimeters. So it's a pretty compact slider with a pretty long reach. And the whole thing is super lightweight and compact, which makes it great for like semi-run and gun type shooting. In fact, I saw myself bringing this thing basically everywhere just in case I needed it, because it's so compact and so easy to carry, which is a real plus, because you're going to do a lot of great shots if you always have this thing with you. Payload capacity. Horizontal use 8 kilograms, which is a lot. I mean, that's like a small to medium-sized cinema rig. So if you're shooting like full-frame mirrorless cameras or anything smaller than that, you will never have a problem with payload capacity, even if you rig them out. Vertical use, 3.5 kilograms. So considerably less, but then again, it is a pretty small motor unit back there, which is actually operating pretty quietly. So 3.5 kilograms is still a lot of weight to be moved for such a little slider. That's the motor unit back there. And it's running off of simple Sony Studio batteries, like the NPF batteries right here. This is a 750, which in my opinion is the best compromise between battery capacity and size. These are the ones that I'm using, but you can use the 550s, the 970s, the 980s. Anything that has an NPF mount will fit this motor unit. Also, you can basically get any unit from Zeapon either as a manual version or as a motorized version. And you can also get this motor unit separately so you can transform your manual version into a motorized one. It'll take you, if you're fast, about 5 minutes, usually between 5 to 10 minutes to switch. So keep that in mind if you're taking this on set. It is a stepping motor. It is not silent, but pretty quiet considering its size and the weight it's moving around. Here's an example using fast speed. Medium speed is more quiet. And the noise of the motor in slow mode pretty much is undetectable on the audio track. With the E800 and 600 units, this base plate right here, this whole construction is not meant to be taken off the slider. You can do so via unscrewing these two screws, but it's meant to stay on there. Whereas with the Micro 2 Motorized, the smaller versions, and the manual version, they had what is called an easy lock base that had a quick release system that you can take off the slider and on pretty quickly. This is meant to stay on there. Basically, the functionality is the same as with the easy lock base. You got your legs and your little legs right here. So tabletop use is no problem at all. It's quite the sturdy construction. The parts are machined very well, and Zeapon, through technical innovation, took care of a problem the shorter and earlier versions had. If you were reaching max payload capacity at the far ends of the reach of those sliders, they couldn't really keep the horizon, so they tilted a little. So Zeapon took care of that by two means. Right here and right there are support systems that help to keep the slider level even at the far ends of the reach. Number 2 are the accessory arms that you can see right here. They're attached to the bottom part of the slider, right here and right there, and secured via a screw lock. Then they attach to the tripod and further stabilize the whole slider. And once you get the hang of it, they work perfectly. Now, I'm not using them exactly Zeapon intended me to use them. Usually they are 3 arms and they come connected to each other. I just took out the middle part and attached the clamps to each end of the individual arm and then used the clamps to secure the arm to my tripod. Because their system aims at a video tripod, whereas I'm using a photo tripod. So that's why I'm using the arms in that way. Now, sometimes if you have to get low to the ground, but not low enough to use the base of the slider itself, I found it hard or difficult or impossible to connect the arms to the tripod because even at their shortest, they were too long. So I replaced the clamps with 2 little tabletop tripods, and instead of connecting the arms to the tripod, I just had them rest on the floor, basically. And that also makes for a super stable system. It's a bit more extra cost because of the 2 tabletop tripods, but it works really well, and I don't see any other way if you want to keep the horizon perfectly level. You need stabilization, and for these kinds of heights that you're seeing right here, that is the perfect solution in my opinion. All right, I had to switch the 750 for the 970. 2 modes of operation, button control and app control. Now, if you don't need more than 2 waypoints, button control is the way to go. It's simple, it's easy, it's quick, and I found myself using it most of the time because of the pace and speed aspect. It's just faster than with the phone. However, if you do need more than 2 waypoints, you can set up to 5 inside the app. More on that in a moment. So here are the button commands. Long hold the on-off button to turn it on. Status indication LED turns from blue to green, you're good to go. Tapping the power button once selects the speed. You got fast, which is not loud, but the loudest of the speed modes. You got slow, which is almost not hearable and shouldn't end up on any audio track, but is pretty slow. And you got medium, which as far as speed and sound is concerned, or noise, is in between. Now, if you want to set a waypoint, just move the slider where it needs to be and double tap the on-off button. 1 beep, waypoint 1 set. Move the slider to the 2nd position, double tap the on-off button again, double beep, 2nd waypoint is set. Now, if you want the slider to move in between waypoints once, double tap the on-off button. And it's going to move in between the set waypoints once. If you want the slider to loop, hold the on-off button and tap one of the arrow buttons on top. And now the slider is going to loop. And this is what I do almost all the time, because I do the shot right now, I check if I have to alter anything, I wait until the slider loops again and redo the shot until it's done. To stop the whole thing, once again, hold the on-off button, tap one of the arrow buttons, and you could start the loop again. But if you want to set different waypoints, here's how to delete them. Tap both of the arrow buttons. Long beep, waypoints deleted. Now let me show you how the app works. Now you have to download the Zeapon Lab app, wait for it to recognize the slider, connect to the slider, and there's your interface. You can now use the top of the interface to move the slider if you go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Now let's say this is waypoint 1. On the bottom you can see waypoints 1 through 5. Let's tap the 1 and set this as position 1. Let's move the slider over a bit. Let's say this is position 2, lock it in. And let's move it a little further to the right and say this is position number 3. And now you can speed ramp, for example, from waypoint 1 to waypoint 2 and speed down to waypoint 3. Let's say this is what you wanted. So to start at waypoint 1, select that one and the slider will move into this position. Now if you wanted to do the movement once, you would just hit play. If you wanted the slider to loop, you would activate the loop command and then hit play. And now it's going to speed ramp from waypoint 1 all the way up to waypoint 2 and ramp down to waypoint 3. And then do the same thing in reverse. To stop, obviously hit stop. And right here above waypoints 1 and 2, you can see the duration this takes. So if you needed a movement that was exactly like 20 seconds, you could adjust the speed to hone it in. So now this whole movement through waypoints 1, 2, and 3 would take approximately 20.4 seconds. Something else you can see right here are the commands for tilt, rotate, and follow focus, which tells you something very important about the system, which is they're going to expand on it even further. So lots of good products to come in the future. Now, where can you use it? Obviously as a tabletop setup using the legs, but another innovation that Zeapon put in, instead of just having the little legs, they also built in some wheels. So you can mobilize the slider on flat surfaces. Obviously, you can go in a straight line, or you can go at angles. Now, most of the time, you're going to be using this in combination with either a photo or video tripod. And both will work. You can, let's say, configure the accessory arms accordingly. Then, of course, it has an Arca Swiss compatible plate right here. So it should fit most video and photo tripod heads, no problem. But if you have some kind of special system, there are 1/4 inch and 1/3 of an inch mounts on the bottom. So if you have a special quick release plate, you can simply attach it to the bottom of the slider. So I got in like 13 shots within 3.5 hours, which is a lot. It's a fast, easy to use and easy to operate and easy to set up system, which is what I love about it the most. It really helps to be creative and to work at the speed of thought and to keep going and to keep getting these shots in a pretty fast pace compared to other bigger, heavier systems. So definitely 2 thumbs up just for that very aspect. All right, giveaway time. So all you have to do to get your hands on one of these for free is leave a comment in the description and describe to me the project you would like to do with this slider, why you would like to do it. Just give me a little pitch in the description. And like a week from now, I will announce the winner in the comment section. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, if you found it helpful, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Any kind of comment or feedback is welcome, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. All the tech that I've used in this video, all the perks, all of that in the description. As always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.